Hello, welcome. We'll give a minute or two for anyone else to join and we can get started. All right. Welcome to week 10 of Ayurvedic habit building program. This week we'll be starting our habit number 5, which is evening rituals. Before we begin, let's start with presence pause and breath regulation. I'll guide you through it. I request you to be seated in a comfortable position and close your eyes if possible. And remember that as I guide you through these prompts, you have to just observe. Observe like how a baby watches the world without labeling anything, without attaching any stories to it or any judgment saying, oh, like I feel weird in my stomach or I feel cold in my feet. So no labels at all. Just stay with the feeling without naming what you're feeling. And that really brings true presence. So remember that as we go through the presence pause, just a reminder, and then we'll go through the breath regulation afterwards. So be seated in a comfortable position, close your eyes. Just 4 seconds pause on noticing your breath. And now shift your attention to your stomach. Now shift your attention to your feet. Just notice any sensations on your feet. And now observe your posture. No need to change it, just observe your posture. Now watch what's running on your mind. Watch your thoughts without engaging with them. Now, how alert or tired do you feel in your body? How alert or tired do you feel in your body? And where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Now, let's take 3 deep breaths on the count of 4 and 6. Inhale on the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice how you're feeling and gently open your eyes if you had them closed. All right, let's begin. So I got a question yesterday from a participant saying when they practice breath regulation in the middle of the day or something, they actually end up feeling more anxious. So I just want to address that because many of us may feel this way. I personally felt this way in the beginning. This happens because I briefly mentioned it in a previous session as well. When we actually bring awareness to our breath or to our body as to how you're feeling, it you just are becoming more aware of your current state. So probably when we're already in a state of anxiety without even knowing it, when we suddenly start bringing awareness, you realize how anxious you are, or like how fast your breath was. So slowing down suddenly could lead to actually feeling more anxious. So I'd recommend doing presence pause before breath regulation if that's what you're feeling. If you're feeling like you're having difficulty just doing breath regulation, so do presence pause. So first you can calm down and then do the breath regulation. And also avoid retaining breath because that can increase stress further. So just do inhale and exhale immediately. So I hope you're all following all the previous habits, at least got started with each one of them in in small steps, starting with breath regulation and hydration and early dinner and evening unwinding. So last week we had evening unwinding implementation week. We discussed three things that you could remove from your evenings that are stimulating you instead of settling you down. So the three things we discussed was screen time, physical activity, and mental activity. If you got a chance to like reduce any of these, even if you can pick one of these and try to reduce this stimulation during evenings, that's a good habit to start with. And this week, our topic is evening rituals. Evening rituals, right? Evening unwinding is more about reducing stimulation, and evening rituals are about rituals that help you calm yourself in the evening and prepare yourself for sleep. So, as we discussed earlier, evenings are transition phase. We transition from activity to rest. And this is the kapha time of the day where body naturally tries to slow down. So if you have stimulation during this time, your body it interrupts your body's natural process of slowing down. Whereas if you can support your system with rituals that act as cues for your body to further slow down, that's going to further help promote good sleep and rest in the night time. So, as I said, like your body prepares for sleep, repair, and nervous system rest during the evenings, and it cannot immediately say switch off like a button, right? It gradually happens, and these rituals help that process. It signals your brain that it's safe to slow down. Okay, and these act as cues that you are settling down for the night. So, this week we're gonna experiment. This is awareness week. I'm not asking you to really start practicing any of these right away. You're gonna experiment. We're gonna discuss three rituals today, three rituals that help promote better sleep in the evening. You're going to experiment with these three rituals and bring awareness of how each of these ritual is impacting you, or of how it's working out for you, because not everyone can follow everything, not everything works for everyone. So you can pick one or two or anything that sticks with you this week and start implementing it next week. So you're going to try these three rituals. The first one is a very simple but very powerful ritual as per Ayurveda to promote good sleep. This is called Pada Abhyanga. Pada Abhyanga is essentially oil massage for the feet. Oil massage for the feet. What you'll do is take a little oil, like sesame oil, if you want more warm and grounding, or sometimes ghee also works if you want a more cooling effect. And you're going to gently massage your feet, the soles, the heels, the toe, each toe. Even 2 to 3 minutes is enough. And this itself is going to help promote better sleep. Because in Ayurveda, the feet are considered deeply connected to the entire body and nervous system. So, when we work with the feet, we're not just relaxing the feet, we're actually influencing how the whole system feels. It impacts how the whole body feels. And interestingly, even from a modern science perspective, this makes a lot of sense because our soles of our feet have high concentration of nerve endings. And when we apply gentle pressure and touch, these signals travel through the nervous system to the brain. And this kind of slow and rhythmic touch that happens with the massage, it activates our parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system, if you remember, is responsible to create rest and relaxation and repair that we need during evening times for sleep. So it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's why foot massage really helps. Foot massage impacts our entire body and nervous system. And also, there's a physical effect happening here. When you use warm oil, it improves circulation and it creates a sense of warmth and comfort. And it also helps the body regulate temperature. If you're if you're not familiar with it, our body actually needs a slight drop in temperature to fall asleep. It needs to be slightly cooler to actually get proper sleep. So if you warm your extremities like the feet, it supports the process of the body core temperature cooling down. So the core temperature of your body cools down if you massage your feet with warm oil. So that's why foot massage is important. On multiple levels, it supports you, it calms your nervous system, it improves circulation, it cools down your core body temperature, it mentally calms you, and it also provides that sensory grounding because you're touching your feet, like grounding yourself. Okay, so this is something you can try this week and see how that works for you. It is a highly recommended practice in Ayurveda for evening and to promote good sleep. And next up, the second ritual we're going to discuss is a warm drink in the evening, an evening drink. Okay, and this could be anything like an herbal tea, like chamomile or lavender or passion flower or valerian root. These are some herbal teas that are proven to support good sleep. So, any herbal tea like this, or even warm milk with a little cardamom or nutmeg, spices that promote better sleep. So either of these options are good. They work for evening time. A warm drink in the evening is not just something that it's not just about taking in something, but also creating that pause to wind down. It's like a signal to the body that you should wind down. So if you can sit down and have a warm drink before bedtime, that's going to be awesome. And if you remember in our hydration rhythm, our fourth point, our fourth anchor was 30 minutes or like half an hour, like somewhere around bedtime, drinking hot water around bedtime. And you can replace that hot water with actually a herbal tea. And that helps hydrate you better and also promote sleep. And even when you think about how it impacts your nervous system, warm liquids have a naturally calming effect on the body. And it also, again, activates your parasympathetic nervous system and it supports digestion in a gentle way. By evening, our digestive system already slowed down. So drinking something light and warm helps settle instead of adding more, say, a snack or something to digest. Okay. And sometimes also late night cravings happen, right? Late night cravings, they're sometimes about hunger, not really about hunger a lot of times, because your body and mind looks for comfort or closure, right? And this ritual can actually provide that. You don't have to eat anything at this time. If you're not really hungry, you can go for a herbal tea. But if you're hungry or during bedtime, you can go for warm milk with spices. And it again, for you can try this. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can use choose its simple tea and anything that works for you, even hot water to begin with. Give me one second. So this is our second ritual. And the third thing that I would like for you all to try is journaling. So journaling is simply putting things down on a paper that are on your mind. So what happens a lot of times. So journaling is simply a way to empty your mind and put it on a paper, right? And it really helps for like people who tend to overthink or like just have a lot of thoughts towards the end of the day, because we're usually constantly taking in things through the day, right? We have conversations or responsibilities. We rarely give the mind a chance to release all of that. So when we lie down at night, our mind continues processing and thinking and looping about things. So, this is why journaling helps for us to put all those thoughts down on paper. So, like you get a release out of your system, and then that'll help you settle down for sleep. And even from a nervous system perspective, right, our brain likes closure. And when thoughts are unfinished or unexpressed, our brain tends to keep them active, almost like open tabs in the background. And this is one of the reasons why we experience overthinking at night. And when you journal, you write these things down and you tell the brain, okay, it's noted. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. And that simple act of journaling, it can reduce your mental load. So it's a great way to reduce your mental activity in the evening. And you don't have to make it complicated. Even say if you can get to a habit of writing two or three things on your mind that are predominant, if you can put them down on a paper, or anything that felt heavy during the day, or even if it's just like a tasks that you want to do tomorrow or like plan for tomorrow, if you can write them down, it's like a release out of your system. And it can reduce overthinking at night. As I said, it can clear that mental clutter, and it also supports emotional processing and helps your mind transition more easily into rest. So as I said, like you don't have to keep make it complicated, like write you don't have to write pages, even like few lines or anything. Or sometimes, even if you are not into a habit of writing, even talking it out loud and like or into a voice memo or anything, just getting it out of your system really helps. So these are the three practices that we discussed. These are three rituals that you can try out. Again, oh, wow. And not to overload your schedule. So pick whatever works for you. A simple ritual is enough. And these three rituals, as I mentioned, support sleep. They're not stimulating. So currently, if you have this habit of doing anything stimulating through bedtime, say watch screens or listen to podcasts, anything that you're taking in information, that is stimulation. Instead, if you can replace those activities with less stimulating, with grounding activities like we discussed today, that's going to help you wind down in the evening. And these rituals act as a cue to your body to settle down. So that's those are the three evening rituals for today. I'd request you all to experiment with these and become aware of how these are impacting and helping you sleep this week. And next week, you can pick up anything that works for you and start implementing it on a regular basis. Any questions?